Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. I got a special video for you today. We're going to be interviewing one of my orbital recovery mentorship clients, Duncan, who's got some pretty incredible results inside of the program, including his first 100+ days porn free, as well as a significant reduction in cutting out of a lot of other bad vices and bad habits in his life, like alcohol, marijuana, and some other things. He's got some really, really impressive results inside the program. I'm excited to share them with you. Let's get into it. The first question that I have for you is if you could give a brief overview of your background and your history and your struggle with pornography.
Right, right. It's been in my life since I was a teen, and it's been in my marriage without my wife knowing since I've been married, and I've been married for 8 years, together with her for 13. She had found various magazines, she had found Twitter profiles that I followed, explore pages on Insta. It was always present that I was viewing that type of content. And I made an asserted effort to try and hide that or not let her see my phone. Yeah. And just, it was all in secrecy, that whole secret life of the whole porn side of my life was always in secrecy. And I think for many people it is. It's just I'd always thought it's something that guys do, Perhaps I thought, yeah, maybe I'm doing it a bit more often than many others, but it's still something that guys do. It's natural. We think about these things. But yeah, I did in some capacity know that I was doing it a bit more than I should, not to mention hiding it, and was coming up with excuses as to what she may have found, in the form of like magazines or, yeah, any sort of feed that was on my phone. So, yeah, I've been hiding it for a long time up until this program. And yeah, it's it's a massive weight to have that all kind of like come out and just, yeah, be open and honest and just turn a new page and restart a new path and approach to thought, living, and just openness.
Yeah. And aside from the double life and the secrecy, which is characteristic of struggling with the pornography addiction, and the knowledge that creeping knowledge for you that maybe you were watching more than other people would be watching it, what other aspects of your life were changing? Like what costs did you notice were showing up in your life that alerted you to the fact that maybe this was a problem?
So first and foremost, I think the intimacy. So it was like a driving stake between myself and my wife. And I'd always thought, I've never been one for physical touch. My love language is acts of service, and that's comfortable to do without being intimate. And I've been comfortable doing that for so long. And only now do I feel like I realize that maybe that's because of what I was turning to for intimacy. But so the lack of intimacy, energy, I was always feeling low on energy. I was always feeling just like distant and clouded and just preoccupied with fantasy and images, thoughts, acting out. And yeah, just the closeness that I could have had with my partner just dwindled over the last few years because of how, I guess, we became so distant, and I just went further into that sort of world and living that life.
Yeah, yeah. So a pretty wide-ranging sample of different impacts that it was having in your life, like your energy levels and your ability to show up in your relationship. Like seems like there were multiple things hitting you across the board. So
Definitely like intimacy and energy, and perhaps lack of focus. Yeah, it's lack of focus and energy levels that I've been living with for so long, not really realizing that it's that addiction that's driving that, but maybe I was just overworked or coming up with any other excuse as to why I was feeling those things, aside from making the connection that it was porn. It's like I didn't want to acknowledge that it was the porn that was making me feel those things. I was always coming up with some other excuse, and I just kept doing that, until she had had enough and was like she couldn't do it anymore, and didn't. The lack of intimacy was a big thing for her, and just, yeah, needed to get out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what things were you trying on your own before getting into the program to stop or control your use or quit?
Just trying to like tell myself that, okay, take a break, try a week, go a week, and then you'd go 3 days, 4 days, and I'd be like, what, I've shown that I can abstain for a while, get back to it, and then almost binge back to it because of making up for lost time. It's silly, but like that's the thing. And trying to abstain for a few days at a time, sure it worked, but like you'd always go back and telling myself that I could go without for a while, well, I couldn't. Yeah, I never really went a week without acting out or viewing or searching online, and it's just ever present. Yeah, all the time.
So it sounds like some major impacts in your relationships, and just summarizing a little bit, the impacts on your focus and your energy levels and the intimacy in your life, ultimately contributing, although, there's multiple causes that eventually lead to relationships ending. It sounds like your pornography addiction was a major contributing force to the end of your marriage.
Yeah, nail on the head right there. Like that's me in a nutshell. That's just it. It's exactly what happened.
So, how do things start to change for you after you got inside of the program?
It's like, oh, I saw the error of my ways, but I did. Not only did I learn in the program just how damaging pornography is to your mind, your body, and your soul, for sure. Like all those three. It changed my perception on how to live, how to act, how to think and feel. And like I'm not just throwing out these words or emotions. Like it truly does affect every aspect of your life, whether you know it, feel it, like it, or can acknowledge it or not. It happens. And until I got into the program and then started going through the program week by week, module by module, I could see just how much I was not only repairing myself by not viewing and acting out anymore, but started to heal and just live a life that's got more substance, it's deeper, it's just more purpose. All in the program, showing me that, yeah, what porn does to you and just how to help you heal and move on and yeah, just do better by yourself and for others. Yeah, on an emotional state, on an intellectual state, just like, yeah, it's proper stuff, mate. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's been incredible to see your progress after getting into the program.
Um,
And I'm curious for you personally, what positive change in your life do you feel the most proud of or the most excited about in terms of how things have changed since you got into the program?
just living more honestly and truthfully. No more bullshitting, no more saying things and either saying things and not doing them, or saying, oh, I feel fine today, or like, yeah, things are good when they weren't. And like putting up this like facade or bravado of like I'm okay with life and the world when you weren't, when you're acting out constantly. And now that I'm many months sober, it's like, yeah, I feel things, and yeah, I'm more honest and open, and I'm living a much more honest and open life in terms of who I talk to, how I talk to them, where my thoughts are when I talk to them, and just everything just feels so much cleaner, fresher, clearer, like purposeful, and just, yeah, just a more honest life with how I talk to people and who I am. I feel a lot more comfortable and confident in who I am and what I do in almost everything. So it's like the abstinence really like cleans you up, and then the intellectual parts and what you learn from that aspect like really boosts it really affirms what you're feeling, and like it just like it all helps. It all like raises you up, and like it just keeps you up at a better level than where you were, and just like props you up and like holds you there. It's a wonderful feeling being clean and sober and being in recovery, learning what I'm learning. Yeah, I almost want to go back to module one and like start it all again, because it's like I'm kind of nearing the end, and it's like, I haven't had enough. Like, and I know that you've packed it like with so much, and you stand by that, and it really shows. But I'm like, I don't want to be greedy, but it's like I want more. So it's like I might just go back and like revisit some of the tasks and a lot of what you've written there, just to like help bolster even further the recovery process.
Something you said really stuck out to me, which is when you were talking about living more honestly.
Mm.
That to me, what I heard is it sounds like you've reclaimed a sense of integrity, that the person you are on the inside and the person you are on the outside are now one and the same.
Yeah.
that this double life that you were stuck in for a very long time has disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Integrity. Like, I feel like now there is no other life. There is no like shadow, like night and day. It's like, look, it's not all like sunshine and rainbows once you get into recovery. You're going to have ups and downs, but you're no longer living a life in secrecy or in the shadows or a double life. Like, I'm now living a life that is me, and there is no other half of me in the shadows clawing at an addiction. It's like, yeah, there's a sense of integrity and confidence, purpose in knowing that I am tackling that addiction and bringing that into the light and living with it, like as one. And there's something very powerful about that. It's like, it makes you feel like, okay, I'm no longer dragging dragging this like darkness behind me, waiting for me to just slip back in and then come back out again. And it's like, it's now just me here with the darkness in the light. Just it sounds how it sounds, but it's like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like, yeah, there's an integrity that comes with owning it and being part of like a fellowship and a brotherhood. And oh man, like, I wish I didn't hit rock bottom to get to where I am. But at the same time, you don't have to get to rock bottom, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't. So it's like, thankful for rock bottom, because now I am where I am, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't. So yeah, it's a wonderful feeling still.
And roughly how long have you been sober from pornography now?
So I think I entered the program on about the 21st or so of May, and we're now early September, and I've slipped once, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So it's call it what it is, but it was the night of my 3-month mark that I had slipped. I didn't know it was that night. Didn't know that the next morning would be a 3-month celebration, which I could have. But yeah, just before my 3-month sober mark, I did have a slip, but yeah, it's still an incredible sort of period of sobriety, and still feeling the effects. Even after one slip, you get back into recovery, you get back into the program, and you keep your head up, you keep going, and it's good stuff to be sober and not feel like, just because I've slipped, I now have lost all that progress. I don't feel that at all. Even though you slip and you get back up and you keep going, there's still a sense of like, you still have that integrity. You still have everything you've learned, and you take that slip with you and you keep moving forward. And this time I push for even longer, and I just push for just the continued effort and dedication to be in this, to help others in the program, to be in the program, and just keep working on myself for forever. Just to keep going at it. Yeah.
And if I remember right when we chatted about that slip, that didn't actually involve any pornography, if I
No,
remember correctly.
no, it didn't involve any
Right.
porn. It didn't involve any images. It didn't even involve any fantasies or thoughts. It was purely based on feeling and, I guess, an urge to release. And yeah, there was a reconnection, because for so long I didn't want anything to do with down there. I was so ashamed, and I was so scared that I damaged, that I'd done it too often. But that slip to me showed me like, okay, it's things will be okay. There is a reconnection to the sexuality that I have, and it came from the most healthiest release I've ever felt in so many years.
Making it to where you're at now, which would be over 100 days pornography free,
Mm,
and having had this one slip, which we talk about this in the program a lot, that when it comes to quitting and recovering from a sexual addiction, it's among the most challenging because we carry our drug with us everywhere we go. It's accessible to us inside of our minds, even
mm,
if we get caught into fantasy and euphoric recall. And a lot of what people's progress in recovery looks like is progressive victory over time.
yeah,
So on one hand, I do want to acknowledge and celebrate you for the massive amount of progress that you've made, for
yeah,
getting over 100 days
yeah,
pornography free, and also for the fact that you were able to take the slip that you had and it didn't derail you. It didn't send you spiraling into depression and binging, or getting into this crazy headspace that you lost all your progress, or a lot of these other traps that people fall into
yeah,
when they have a slip in their journey of recovery, which can create these self-sabotaging loops. where we have a slip and then we respond to destructive behavior with more destructive behavior, and off we go back into the darkness. So it's been great to hear, and also great to see that you've learned how to fall forward even when this one slip did happen. And as you said as well, over time, our relationship with our sexuality starts to change. And while inside the program, I don't actively, I work with people on a kind of one on one basis with some of their particular sexual behaviors. I
Yeah.
don't actively advocate that people engage in masturbation, especially
Yeah.
not, in the program. But what we typically see in the recovery world is that after a period of about 3 months, 3 to 6 months, depending on the person, a lot of people will start to experience something like masturbation as non compulsive, which sounds like it's something that you experienced maybe for
Yeah.
the first time, that it was non compulsive. Now, that's not to say that we give ourselves a free pass to go back
Yeah.
into that behavior, because that's a slippery slope. But
Mm.
when the slip did happen, there's this massively changed quality of what we experienced, how it affected our brains and bodies. Did it trigger the urge, the craving, and the compulsion to act out more? And the very fact that you had the slip and it didn't trigger any of that is such a
Mm.
massive sign of healing and progress in your mind and in your body. So, yeah, I just wanted to take a second to acknowledge that, because it's important to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you. It is like, and that's just it. Like, it didn't trigger any sort of want to get back into that sort of habits or life, or, and it did. It came from a place of, dare I say, purity, but like there was something completely different about that particular acting out session that was so different in so many ways to every other time before that, for so many years before then as well. So it's like completely different. And yeah, it's thanks to that time that I saw your reel pop up, and I was like, I got to get, yeah, I then started following you. And then that was me cautiously or like timidly saying, oh yeah, okay, I'm interested. And then you message, and then I was like, okay, that's when the ball started rolling. And then from there it was like, yeah, the recovery journey had started, and I wasn't even aware that it had already begun. But like, yeah, and here we are, what, 4 months later or so, still at it, still happy I'm here, still supporting others, and like very thankful to have had you like show up and say, if you're struggling, then reach out. Let's help you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome to hear, man. I'm curious, in the program, did you have any individual moments that were big moments or big insights where you felt like something clicked or shifted for you in a really positive way?
But maybe the biggest one was that porn is not your problem, but acting out as a way to self-soothe what you're going through on the inside, or what you've been through, to help yourself deal with life, was a big like, holy shit, that like resonates so powerfully. And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I would still think about today, of how helpful it is to remember that it's not that it's porn that's the problem. It's this inner person in me that needs to heal, that needs the healing in the form of connection with other people. I didn't get that much when I was younger, with my parents, with a lot of interactions and emotional sort of support. And yeah, acting out and seeking that content was a way for me to feel like I could get that for myself whenever I wanted to. And realizing that through going through the course was a big moment, because yeah, I realized that it's me inside that need to heal and work with and help grow, help fix, help nurture, help love, support, in order for me to connect purposefully with others and the world, and not resort to or refer to porn to help soothe what I'm going through, but rather connect with others to help me soothe what I'm going through, or help me. And that's like the essence in some way, isn't it? To connect with others and help you grow. And that's the path that I'm sticking with, and that we all stick with, or we try to, and we want to. And the aim of recovery to help connect with other people, and it's powerful, and I think that also ties into the integrity and the confidence that you have when you maintain sobriety for a while. It just bolsters all of that, and it's like you just want to connect, and you want to be open and honest, and like share your feelings with men, women, friends, family, like with anyone. It's just all true. There's no bullshitting anymore. And it's like, yeah, it's almost like you've been released, and it's like, yeah, this is how to live, this is how to feel, this will help you.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. As we talk about in the program, right, the opposite of addiction is connection.
Mm,
And when we reconnect to ourself and to others, we experience a kind of relief from the compulsion to act out that
yeah.
no amount of willpower and trying harder was ever able to bring us.
It's great, mate. Like, yeah, not much else to say about it other than I wish anyone who acts out on a weekly basis would find it, just so that they can help themselves.
Appreciate that. My next question was actually going to be, what would you tell somebody who was struggling with pornography and maybe sitting on the fence about getting into a program or seeking help or getting into a community of people who are devoted to solving this problem?
Oh man, I would say to anyone who's like on the fence about wanting to get help or thinking they don't have a problem, or like, we're guys, we do it, it's not a problem at all. If you're doing it weekly, I think this course will help you not only curb doing that, but give you a new perspective on what porn does to you, and how it stunts you. And start small. Like, it can be a very shameful thing in the beginning for everyone. And once you start, and once you just start talking just a little bit, and then throw in a few words here, and you mention porn, and you mention, oh yes, I've done this or that, and then that shame just starts to dwindle and go away, and then you just open up, and yeah, it then just becomes commonplace to talk about it, not only in the course with the people who are in the community in the orbital group, but with other sex addicts in meetings, and just generally, to people who are struggling. It's the shame goes away, the guilt goes away, and you then learn to, yeah, work past that, own it, and heal and grow. It's just getting past that initial feeling of guilt and shame. That's tough. But once you start chipping away at that a little bit, yeah, just next thing, it just starts coming down quickly, and yeah, you're on your way to healing.
Well, thank you for everything today, man. It's been incredible talking to you, and it's been such a privilege and an honor to get to work with you and to, walk by your side on this path of recovery and get to see you grow and watching you become healthier and healthier and start to find, your sexuality integrating
Mm,
into your life in a healthy element or
yeah,
as a healthy element. It's been really incredible to have you in the program, and your coachability and your willingness to take action and to make the changes in your life and being willing to make the changes is, in my opinion, largely what has gotten you to where you are. That
yeah,
willingness to show up and to put in the work. So I want to commend you for that. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to continuing to get to work with you over the next couple months and excited for you to get to see the next half of the program.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And back at you. I say it every check-in. Like, I'm happy to be here. I'm thankful, so thankful for what you've time and effort that you put into the course, and for creating a group that we can all support one another. And I'm keen to see that group grow, and I'm keen to stick around in the group, and just be here to help, and just be around for guys who are then coming in, and we've all been through it, we're all going through it, and yeah, let's stick together, get stronger, and just keep going. So yeah, thank you as well.
Now, if you're somebody who's struggling with pornography, if you resonated with Duncan's story, if you're ready to get the kind of results that Duncan got, I want you to go down into the description below, click on that link, and book a call with me. If you know you're ready to break free, let's get your recovery started. I look forward to speaking with you. Thanks for watching. Hope you got some value, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.